I love rainy days. It's like the perfect weather. Am I the only one that believes that? No, yes? All right. It's awesome. It's especially perfect when you don't have to get up, especially when you're the pastor of the church. You're like, oh, man, I do have to get up. But, man, we had an incredible time at Lean In Conference this past week to just really focus on the Lord, hear some incredible speakers, and just really just focus on who He is. And Saturday morning, I didn't get to be there because I coach T-ball right now, and so I got to go coach our T-ballers, and they're awesome. And so... They are. They really are. They're fantastic kids. And but we got done a little early, and so we came back to conference, and the kids and I sat in the cafe where we streaming our services. So if you're in the cafe or family room, hello. Glad you're with us. But we were watching the service, enjoying the worship, and then Aaron came up to share some ministry time. And what was great about this is I'm listening and being with my kids, and I hear, now Eric isn't here, so I can tell you this. I went, what? And so she started sharing about how I can't sing. We have a video of it.
The poor man just sings his heart out, and he is off key all the time. But you know what? He does not let that stop him. He sings his heart out because he knows that worshiping God and singing out and praising Him and proclaiming.
That selfie ain't cute. But yeah, so you never know who's listening, and she wasn't lying. It was just funny. So. But man, if you for whatever reason you couldn't make it to the conference, we'll be doing it again this time next year, a week before Memorial Day. You can already put it in your calendar right now. I'll wait. Put it in your calendar. But it's going to be an incredible time. Think of it this way. We used to do Seek Week a few years ago. We did 5 days of stuff. And we're like, nope, no one got time for that. So we were condensed it to a day and a half. But think of it as summer camp for adults. And so it's just an incredible time to encounter the love of Jesus. And so I encourage you to be part of it next year. And we'll have some neat things about that. But you can check out all the podcasts. All that will be live this week. Anyway, all right. You guys ready to get back into Ruth? So we start off with Ruth chapter 1. And we learned they went through a terrible situation. And the whole story, that whole chapter ends with they've got dead husbands. They're back in land Bethlehem. So Naomi's had to come back. It's almost like that. It's like things didn't go well. Have you ever had to quit a job and then you had to come back and ask for it back? Yeah, it's not fun. So that's what happened with Naomi. And then Ruth left everything that she knows to go back with Naomi. And Naomi is so bitter, so frustrated, so angry. She says, change my name to Mara because I'm bitter. And the entire chapter ends with no hope at all. These two women who have been widowed are destitute are for a life of poverty. And that's just not the way you want to end things. So luckily there's a chapter 2. And Aaron did a phenomenal job last week teaching, going through Ruth chapter 2. If you missed it, make sure to grab it on the podcast. She does an incredible job with that. But what I loved about what her message, she talked about is in these seasons of where we can choose to be bitter or better, is that we can also become destructive or we can become determined. That we can actually open our eyes and begin to see how God is involved in every single detail of our lives. And even though He may not seem like He's moving or speaking or doing the miraculous, God is always in the midst of the details. And we can trust that. So as chapter 1 ended with hopelessness, chapter 2 ends with hope. And so in chapter 3, we are going to walk through a part of it where now we have hope. Aren't we excited for hope? You know, you ever, we were driving home, you really have to go to the bathroom, and you have that last turn you have to go, and you know there's hope because your house is right there? Well, the chapter 3 is, yes, there's hope, but wait. Anyone in here like to wait? No, I don't like to wait either. I don't. When God tells me something, like, oh, you're going to do this, and He is really encouraging you. You get back from camp or Lean-In conference or Vision Sunday, you go back, and you're back from Sunday morning, like, yeah, God's going to do this. And then Monday comes, and you have to wait. You're like, yay, this is what adventuring into the ordinary. Nothing feels like it's changed. And here we go. But there is so much power and so much work that God does in the midst of our waiting. As believers in Jesus, we don't wait for hope anymore. We wait with hope. And there's two different ways to live our lives. And so today's message is waiting with hope. I love it in the end of chapter 2. We see Naomi exclaim, "Good! Do as she said, my daughter. Stay with the young women right through the whole harvest. You might be harassed in other fields, but you will be safe with him." She is celebrating hope because Boaz is a good guy, and he's a kinsman redeemer to Ruth. And I love it because you can always find hope the loudest in the voice of the desperate. And a lot of times we fail to see that we have hope because we don't realize how desperate we are. And a lot of times it's because we've given ourselves over to counterfeit hope that we think is going to keep us sustained for a long time, but we just end up going back for more and more and more, and your thirst is never quenched. We live constantly, you must be aware of the hope that we have in Jesus. And once we know that, we can always be ready to exclaim that things are good. So let's go to Ruth chapter 3. Verse 1 through 9, so go ahead and turn there in your Bible app, on your Bible. It'll be here on the screens behind me, but I'm going to read this and let's follow along. It says, "Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, 'My daughter, should I not seek rest for you, that it may be well with you? Is not Boaz our relative with whose young women you were? See, he is winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor.'" Now, what I love about Naomi, out of nowhere, she becomes suddenly like Thug. She's like 90s R&B rap right here. Like, she's just like, hey, am I going to have to do the work for you, sweetheart? Like, we're not going to be single forever. You got this guy right here. Let's get to work. And just out of nowhere, Naomi just becomes like just this animal. And so let's look at verse 3. "Wash therefore and anoint yourself. Put on your cloak. Go down to the threshing floor. Do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. But when he lies down," so he says, get dolled up, take a shower, sweetheart, get the makeup on, get anointed with that perfume, that Chanel number 5, whatever it's called, Chanel, whatever. Get ready, get dressed, look good because you're going out tonight. You're going to the threshing floor. It's a popular club in Israel at the time that they go to. No, I'm just kidding. It's a place of work. Now, wait till he's finished eating and drinking. It's always a good thing, just because you don't want him to be hangry or anything. But when he lies down, observe the place where he lies. This is when it gets creepy. Watch him till he falls asleep. Naomi ain't messing around. Like, singles ministry right now should be taking notes. Like, okay, we're going to watch till he falls asleep. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. "Then go and uncover his feet and lie down, and he will tell you what to do." What? Like, if I were Ruth listening to Naomi right now and go, "Oh, sweetheart, I think you want this more than I do." Like, let's calm down here. And she replied, "All that you say I will do." There's that covenant coming into place right there. So she went down to the threshing floor, did just as her mother-in-law had commanded her. And when Boaz had eaten and had drunk, he wasn't drunk, he's full. So calm down. And his heart was merry. He went to, come on, after that double-double, our hearts are a little merry. Come on. Man, the other day, it was like the perfect double. Okay, I'm not going to go. Oh my gosh, it was so good. "Then she came softly and uncovered his feet and lay down. At midnight, the man was startled and turned over, and behold, a woman lay at his feet." Of course. Anyone else, if you're just chilling, you're sleeping, and you feel something at your feet, anyone else going to freak out? Come on now. Like, we have a little dog. She's 12 pounds. We named her Chloe after the character in 24. If you don't know, you should. And she only sleeps on she sleeps on the bed at the very end at the foot of our bed, but only on my side of the bed. Now, I'm the larger individual between my wife and I. Okay? And this happens all the time. Anyway, so I have this 12-pound dog that sleeps at the edge of my feet. This is why. Because my wife is a violent sleeper. Every once in a while, our dog Chloe gets brave and goes sleep at the feet of Aaron. And sometime in the middle of the night, you'll hear this. Boom. Because she'll just flat out kick this dog in the middle of her sleep. And then she'll come over, and I'm like, what happened? And Chloe's up looking at me like, she did it again. Like, I'm like, you know better, sweetheart. Like, you're over here, you're safe. Because at least if I push her, like, it's gentle. But anyways, it's weird. Never sleep at people's feet. It's weird. Even if your mother-in-law tells you, but she's under covenant, so she got to do what she got to do when a girl's got to get a husband, right? And he goes, who are you? Oh, man. And she answered, I am Ruth, your servant. Spread your wings over your servant, for you are my redeemer. And what Ruth is asking for this moment, she's asking him, can we make this thing official? Can you put your wings over me and cover me? And what's neat about this is Ruth is not asking Boaz to do something he has not done already. Boaz has already protected her. Boaz has already provided for her. Boaz has already stood up for her. And what Ruth is saying goes, now that you've done those things, I've seen those character traits of you, you are my kinsman redeemer, can we make this thing official? Can you put a ring on it right now? And Boaz responds to it. And just another note, if you're in the process of dating or looking for someone to date, don't think that the commitment is going to cause them to bring the covering. It's not. They cannot do what they have not done already. So unless they are already protecting you, providing and sticking up for you and promoting you, don't think that a marriage proposal, moving in, or anything else, another level in your relationship is going to bring it to a different level. If they're not doing it, then they're not going to do it now. That has to be developed before you give your heart to them. So just an FYI. Ruth is recognizing this in Boaz, and he says, you're already fulfilling the roles of a husband. Now, can we do this right? Now, Ruth was a younger woman. Boaz was an older guy. Ruth could have gone for anyone, and Boaz recognizes this. He said, may you be blessed by the Lord, my daughter. You have made this last kindness greater than the first, and that you have not gone after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that you ask, for all my fellow townsmen know that you are a what kind of woman? A worthy woman. And now that is true, I am a redeemer. Yet there is a redeemer nearer than I. Remain tonight, in the morning he will, if he will redeem you, good, let him do it. But if he is not willing to redeem you, then as the Lord lives, I will redeem you. Now lie down until the morning. What's powerful about this is Ruth, remember, she is a Moabite. She is not of Israel. She did not have to follow this kinsman redeemer statute or this command. She didn't have to follow it. She could have gone after any young thing, any wealthy thing, anything that would bring her temporary or immediate results, immediate covering. But instead, because she made the covenant with Naomi, she is following what God has set up in the kinsman redeemer and falls under that and submits to that. Man, what incredible. That's why she's called a worthy woman. Because she allowed the waiting to permeate into her life and allowed her to go after what was right. And through this, and we're going to see in chapter 4 next week, the fruit of obedience and the fruit of being faithful to Yahweh. And what's fantastic about the book of Ruth, you don't see an incredible, miraculous work of God. There is no Boaz walking on water here. It's just Boaz being a good guy. Can I tell you that's a miracle amongst itself? A woman being worthy, that is a miracle of God. And so that's why we talk about being adventuring into the ordinary, because God is involved in every single detail. Do not discount the ordinary for that's not extraordinary, that God is in the midst of it. Verse 14. So she lay at his feet until the morning, but arose before one could recognize another. And he said, let not be known that a woman came to the threshing floor. He's trying to protect her and himself. Nothing crazy happening, just this way he wants to protect them. And he said, bring the garment you are wearing and hold it out. So she held it, and he measured out 6 measures of barley and put it on her. Then she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, he said, how do you fare, my daughter? Then she told her all that the man had done for her, saying that these 6 measures of barley he gave to me, for he said to me, you must not go back empty-handed, but to who? Your mother-in-law. She replied, wait, my daughter, until you learn how the matter turns out, for the man will not rest until he settles the matter today. There is hope, but it's time to wait. Because there are things that God does in you and I when we wait. Jackie, I'm going to invite you to bring up some things up here to the stage. I don't know if you know this about me or know this about yourself or maybe the person you're sitting next to. How many of you know that y'all got baggage? Anyone else? Okay, you got some emotional baggage, you got some physical baggage, you got some spiritual baggage, you've got all sorts of baggage. So I asked Jackie to bring me some baggage. So this is all my baggage. So now, the Star Wars one is Jude's, it's not mine. I have to make sure I clarify that. So
I am so sorry.
Got some JoJo Siwa right here. Got a 4-year-old. Got all this stuff. And I couldn't fit Aaron's bag into my truck. So, Aaron, can you bring me your purse? All these represent, family, life. So here's Aaron. So I've got burdens. I've got baggage. I've got all sorts of. I'm going to try to do this the last time I kind of messed up my microphone. There we go. All right. Any of this look familiar when you look in the mirror, by the way? Yeah. Can you bring my other bag? Ugh. It goes with my eyes. It does. Here's my man bag right here. It's a satchel. It's not a purse. It's a satchel. Indiana Jones has one. But as we come here, you realize when you have baggage, one of the most frustrating things is when you have baggage and when you have to wait holding your baggage. At an airport, like we went to Honolulu a few years ago for a convention, and we're in Honolulu. We're ready to go. You feel that beautiful Hawaiian air, the breeze. We get there, and our car rental bus does not show up for 2 hours. We changed our car rental company in the midst of those 2 hours. They come pick us up. We get our car. I'm already so frustrated, so angry. It's been 2 hours. I'm in Hawaii. What do I want to eat? Pizza. So we took our rental car. We went and got pizza, got back in the car. It would not shift out of park. So I had to walk with our baggage back to the car rental place to get a new car rental, and they give us the same car. Another conversation. I'm not going to get... We talked about bitterness 2 weeks ago, not today. But carrying baggage, it gets really heavy. And it gets very frustrating. And it gets very like anyone else tries to hand you more baggage, you just snap at them, right? Like instantly you think your 3-year-old can carry everything. Like just carry your own stuff. Like I just learned how to walk last week. But you just get snappy. But what's interesting when we carry our baggage in the seasons of waiting, what you discover is that waiting reveals your friendships. And write that down, number 1. Waiting reveals your friendships. There's 2 types of people in your life. There are people that go, look at all that baggage you have. Those aren't your friends. Now, they may hang out with you, but they're not your friends. Then there's people in your life that are going to say, well, you're carrying a lot of baggage. Can I help you with that? Can I assist in any way? And it really reveals the people that are in your life in order for mutual embetterment and really who are just there to be consumers. I mentioned a few weeks ago when talking about finding a Ruth in your life that the greatest friends you'll ever experience in your life are the ones that are formed in the seasons of adversity. The ones that don't see you when you're all cute. The ones that are there when things were hard and they stuck up for you and they shared with you and they supported you. And so that's why in any relationship, any dating relationship, don't base your decision off if you've never argued or gone through something difficult. If you're not arguing, someone's just being quiet, by the way. Speak up. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that a lot. But what I love about this interaction that we see with Boaz, with Ruth and Naomi, is that Boaz was able to see and choose to accept Ruth's baggage. We see it very clearly. Boaz understands that if he were to be the kinsman redeemer for Ruth, that does not just mean she gets Ruth, does it? It's also a mother-in-law. It's also Naomi. And his response, instead of to that baggage to go, I don't know, that's a little too much to bear, what we recognize, he says, you know what? Take this barley to who? To your mother-in-law. What he is saying is my covering is just not going to cover you, but it's going to cover your family. And that's what friendships do. And that can only be revealed in waiting. It can only be revealed when you sit there long enough and someone says, hey, can I help you with that? When you see people with that, you begin to understand not only are they responsible with their own baggage, but they want to help and be responsible for yours. And in Galatians 6, it talks about how we need to bear each other's burdens while we bear the burdens that we are called to bear. And so we'll get to a little bit more of what that looks like. But I love the fact that Boaz, this doesn't scare Boaz. And I know that there's men and women in this room right now who you feel like your baggage is too much to bear. And you may be with someone or looking for someone that makes you feel guilty and shameful for that. And can I tell you, they're not your Boaz. Wait, which takes me to point number 2, is waiting produces patience. Waiting produces patience. How many of us love that word? Be patient. Yeah, right. Like we have to have it on our app. We have to have it now. We have to have it, like if it's a minute late, it's late, and we're just angry and we get upset. We get all these different things because we don't like patience. And the amazing thing about when we wait, God teaches us not only the word not yet, but for us to go, hold on. To wait. To be able to just sit and wait on the Lord. See, a lot of times he's trying to teach us to put our trust in his promises and not our desires. Because our desires are good. There are good desires. It's good to want to eat. Amen? Okay? The sexual desire is a good thing. God made it, and it was good. Things, wanting financial security, those are good things. But a lot of times because we try to take shortcuts, we miss out on the finished product. I was going to bring an illustration today, but as you can tell, my hands are full. And I was going to bring cupcakes for everybody. Isn't that nice? But I wasn't going to bake them. I was going to do the flour, the funfetti mix you get from the grocery store, put the eggs in there. I was going to let sit overnight outside the refrigerator, fill up the cupcake things for everyone, and pass out unbaked cupcakes. And we would all enjoy those, right? Why? That's gross. Like you're going to get sick. Like our bathrooms are rough enough. Like it's not going to be friendly for anyone. And a lot of times what happens is we settle for unbaked cupcakes. How many of us like baked cupcakes? Come on with that frosting, you get the sprinkles on it. Like I don't care who you are, cupcakes are delicious. But we settle for unbaked cupcakes, whether it be in our relationships, whether it be with our finances, whether it be with romantic relationships, and we wonder why there's so much drama. We wonder why there's so much issues, and it's because you're eating raw eggs, sweetheart. Like you're eating unbaked cupcakes, and you wonder why you're sick. Because we are failed to be patient in the midst of the things God is doing in us, amongst the waiting. There's a reason why God says a sexual relationship is meant for a covenant relationship, is because He wants you to experience a baked cupcake. Baked cupcakes are good. Come on. There's power, and if we just wait for the time that God designed them to wait, I love it. One of our, Amanda, she's in here today. She shared it during our pre-service prayer today that God was speaking over, over this church today, just to understand the pace of grace. And I thought that was so powerful, just even that verbiage. And she explained it this way. She said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing because I can't say it as good as she does, is that whenever we're being led by Jesus, we need to stay in step with him. If he walks ahead of us, we need to walk faster. If he slows down, we need to slow down. We have to walk with Jesus. Yeah. No longer to Jesus or saying, Jesus, hurry up, follow me. It doesn't work that way. I do that with my kids sometimes. I used to lead them from the back and get really frustrated because for some reason they could run 1,000,000 miles an hour when I tell them not to, but when I tell them to walk, it's like they have concrete shoes. And I'm just like, move! Like, go! What I realize is when you do that, you get frustrated, you get angry, but when you walk in front of them, you end up going, come on, and then like you're walking and they've already like turned, and you're like, oh my goodness, where are my children? And you start looking around. But when you walk with them, whether hand in hand or next to each other as they grow older, as they learn independence, but they still need to learn your voice, you're no longer getting frustrated because they're moving too slow or getting frustrated because they ran off because they're by your side. And that's the pace of grace. That's the ability to be patient and wait on the Lord and not your desires. To wait on his promises so that the desires that we do have are good are utilized and enjoyed instead of having regret because we're eating unbaked cupcakes. There is a power in waiting and being patient. A lot of times we waste our time when we fail to take advantage of our time. Stop. Take pictures when God is doing things. I know Aaron yesterday said, when you're going through hell, don't stop and take pictures. Don't. It'll ruin your camera. But when God is having you in a season of waiting, look around. One of the things I love are road trips because you get to look out the window. And it's there. It's not a screen. As much as you can, there's a healthy amount of screen time for our kids, but take those things away so they can see what's going on around them. Man, there's beauty. There's power. There's joy. That's right. Preach it. I know, Anthony. But there's power when you're just able to just wait. One of the greatest things we can teach ourselves is to wait. Because whenever we wait, the destination increases in value. And it's a powerful thing that God teaches us. Number 3, write this down. Waiting strengthens your faith. And this stuff is getting really heavy. See, so cute. I love Maya. Boaz's generosity, what's great, it doesn't come out because Boaz has a lot of money. It doesn't come out because he's super abundant, well off. He's generous because he knows another harvest is going to come. If you look back in already just 3 chapters, he's given Ruth almost a year's worth of barley. But he always knows, he goes, I don't have to worry about what I'm giving because I know God's going to give it back because the next harvest is coming. I don't have to worry about it. Because in his waiting as a farmer, that he has been able to see God's faithfulness over and over and over again. And he knows that God is always faithful. Another harvest will always come. And what's fantastic about what God teaches us is that that's what it means to wait on the strength, get that right, is that being strengthened in your faith. Because this is the powerful thing. As we carry all these burdens and all these things, God says, can I see some of it? You're like, yep, absolutely. Take this one. Here you go. It's all yours, God. I didn't want that one anyway. And then you keep carrying, so you pick up something else. And then he goes, hey, can I see that big one? Well, no. You go, well, let me see. All right. He goes, it'd be easier? Let me teach you how to use it. There's a little thing right here, and he goes, whoop. Whoa. That's neat, God. Oh, that's much better. Thank you. So the burdens that you have to carry, that you have to bear, he's going to teach you how to do it better, how to do it well. You'll see that other burden? I said, yeah. I said, God's like, you need to lead your wife better. I said, I know. He goes, can I have it? He goes, I'm like, do you want it? No, I can't give it to you. Okay. Well, why don't you put it here and utilize the things that God's giving you so that you can love your wife better? Oh, okay. Well, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. And he goes, what about that thing? Oh, no, I like this thing. Let me have it. No, I don't want you to have it. I want to bear your burdens. I like this burden. Do you need it? No, but I want it. And this is the point where we have to learn to trust in the Lord. All right. I'll trust you with it. You begin trusting, and what happens when it says that those who wait upon the Lord that will be strengthened, we're not talking about that He's going to give you a superhuman serum that's going to make you buff like Captain America. What it means, he goes, is you will be strengthened the more you trust me. Your faith will be strengthened. And so when other things come up in life, I'm able to go, oh, okay, yeah, Lord, what do you think about this? Can you figure that out? As you're going, and there's a time with our kids where he says, you're going to have to trust me with those. You don't know them. Oh, yes, I do. But I know better than you. No, you don't. Okay, Lord, I'm going to trust you with them. And my strength and my faith is rising. Because the more I trust in him, the more my confidence and my faith grows that he is who he says that he is. And as the more that you trust him, the more you have a captivated ear for what he has to say about those things. If you hold it all, guess what? You don't care what God thinks. You think you're God. But the more you trust in him, you go, man, Lord, what do you have to say about those things? So you change your ear. And what's fantastic about this, the more that you allow the Lord to take care of things, and your faith is strengthened, hey, guess what? Now I have an arm to take care of somebody else. I'm no longer consumed with my stuff, with my burden. I am now free to show love to other people and now help them bear their burden as Scripture has shared. And I'm going to help you bear some of your luggage, some of your baggage that is on you. Because God uses people in forms of relationships, whether it's in our discipleship, whether it's in our connect groups, whether it's in our spiritual leaders, that we're able to discern the things that maybe you don't need this at all. Maybe we can give this to the Lord. Maybe we can, and what happens is you become more free. And the more things that you trust God with, the more freedom you get to experience. And that can only happen in waiting. Most of the time, God wants to give you your promise, but your hands are so full you can't hold it. So until you release yourself of those things, God's going to withhold the promise until you're ready to actually carry it. Because every responsibility, every promotion, every child that you have, every relationship that you're now in has a new weight of responsibility on you. Because there are burdens we have to bear. But can you imagine bearing those, if we bore those burdens with his strength and not our own? And I want to read you this passage as the worship team comes forward. It says, But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Come on, anyone in here want a renewed strength? They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Can you imagine if we were waited upon the Lord instead of try to rush him to the point that we would have new strength and new freedom and not get tired? That's a powerful truth. Well, let's stand together. As we worship together, I want us to know that as we walk with Jesus, we always have a hope. If you know Jesus in here today, you already have a hope. So you're not waiting for hope anymore. You're waiting with hope. And so that we can come before the Lord and we can begin to cast our burdens onto him and allow him to move in our lives. So let's worship together.